There we go. Anything else I'm forgetting?
No, that's
I
it.
think we're good. Okay, from the top.
You got your flow patch on?
Take two. No, I don't. And I've got old underwear on that don't fit me very well, so they're a little tight. So, anyways, welcome everybody to our Monday night team Patchination Facebook training. Team Facebook. Guys, I got to tell you, we have had so many trainings. Paul, when you think back of the trainings, I think in the guides tab, I looked the other day and there was something like 270 some odd trainings or more in there. So when you think about that, that's a lot of trainings. Now, some of it that we've done in the past, we've done repeats, simply because, you know, there's certain things you just can't hear enough of. And not every time when you hear a training does everything stick. And so sometimes you have to do more than do the training more than once. And you know, I think that it's very important from my perspective, and I know from I think Paul's perspective, I can speak for Paul safely. We've been friends a long time, and we just know that we don't know everything, and we know that everybody on here, including me and Paul, know a little bit. And I think it's very, very important as a team. We talk about team all the time. I think it's very important that we allow our field and our team to speak. And so, you know, with all those trainings that we have, I know there's certain trainings that have, you know, stuck in my mind and have resonated with me that I've implemented. Because let's face it, I was not a network marketer when I started in this business. I really, you know, had no experience. I was in a family business for years and years. Paul was the same way. Paul and I became friends through business. He was a publisher and I printed his publication. And so I can remember, Paul, when we first started, we said, what are we going to do? Like, what do we do? And we're like, well, let's get people in a room. And I can remember we put a little team together. We got people in a room, and I can remember Jay saying, I don't want any of that, you know, music playing and, you know, people jumping around and drinking the Kool-Aid. And all of a sudden, one of the guys on our team put on some music and started singing. And Jay looked at me like, you know, I had four heads, and I'm like, dude, this was not planned. This was just impromptu. He just took over the mic. What do you want to do? Shoot him? Like, so anyways, we started doing events. So it shows you we didn't know what we were doing. But, you know, I've learned a lot since looking at network marketing in 2014, and then being with, of course, Vox Life and now the Super Patch, since, you know, before the company was a company in 2015 and then eventually 2016. And I've listened to a lot of trainings. We've done a lot of trainings on here. And between Paul and I, we've done a training almost every single Monday night since 2016. And now we've, you know, given up holidays and that sort of stuff, you know, for everybody to take a break. But I was talking with my sister, Lori, who's my partner, and we're saying, wouldn't it be nice to, she came up with the idea and said, hey, maybe we could do sort of the top 10 training tips that people have. And I'm like, well, yeah, I like that. But for somebody to talk about their top 10, I mean, I can't even talk about my top 10. Like, that would take hours. So we decided, let's look at maybe one or two things that the field has learned that they've implemented. And it doesn't necessarily have to be our training that, you know, I've done or Paul's done or whatever. It might be something that you've done on your own through personal training, or whatever, that, you know, has resonated with you, that you've implemented into your business, that has helped you grow, maybe helped your team grow, and share it with the field. So because I'm the host, I'm going to go first. And then Paul's the co-host. He's going to share a couple things, go second, and then we're going to have people raise their hands. So I'm going to be very, very, very quick. I think one of the biggest things that I learned, you know, through my training was to get out of my comfort zone. Now, it's easy to, you know, sit in front of staff that I had and talk, you know, at the office in a boardroom or whatever. But when you start having the responsibility of trying to lead people and do calls like this or whatever, man, oh man, I listen to the Eric Worre's of the world and the Tony Robbins of the world about getting out of your comfort zone, and I'm like, I really didn't know what that meant, right? Until I started doing network marketing. And when you got to stand in front of, 10 people, 50 people, 250 people, and man, I had the sweatiest pitch you've ever seen when I was, standing in front of people for the first time. And I know Paul did too, because like, I remember one time he came off the stage and I was like, good job, bro, and everything. He goes, yeah, but I'm freaking soaked. So I know, he felt the pressure too. But we get better at it. We don't always perfect it, but we're always in the pursuit of perfection, aren't we? And we're always in that pursuit. And so how do we get there? We keep doing. So one of the biggest things for me in all the trainings that I heard was just get out of your comfort zone and do it. People really don't care that much. They don't really see that you're uncomfortable. It's only you that sees that you're uncomfortable. So get out of your comfort zone and do it. So I'm going to start off with that. For me, Paul, you're second. What's one of the biggest training tips you ever learned that helped you with your business?
Yeah. So, I mean, comfort zone is huge. I mean, I used to be the guy that did this when I had to do a speech and just in front of a classroom, right? And going up on stage, all those things, not a chance. And like you said, just the more you did it, it was just kind of, oh my gosh, you just get into a comfort zone. I mean, I don't need, like, you get out of your comfort zone to get in one.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest takeaway for me was I always remember when you were trying to get me to a meeting and you were saying, oh, you got to go to this Super Saturday, or you got to go to this event, or you got to go to, and I just kept saying, I don't need Super Saturdays, and like, I'm going to go out and crush this thing. And it wasn't until it was probably 7 months of you saying that or something. And then I guess it was some sort of a university, and I actually had to pay $149. And I thought, $149 here, what am I doing? So boom, did it. It was a 2-day deal or something. And I remember it was Lori, you were there too, and Terry, and anyway, and I went in there and I just can't believe what I just got from that weekend. It just totally opened up my eyes. And then, when we were building that, it was just, we learned so much that we were able to like transfer it over to when, we came with Vox. But for me, the key is events, like have an event. And if there's no one on the couch, it's okay. Take the picture, have a laugh, take the next event.
Yeah.
There might be 2 people, take the next event. It's 20, then it's 40, then you got this weekly thing going. And I'm starting them here in Barrie. I just reached out. I have a lot of the team that has just come back in to say, we want to get rocking again. I said, well, we got to have, meetings every, bi-weekly or something like that. So I'll leave it at that. But for me, that's huge. You want to build this sucker. That's how you get people together. You invite people. It's a real live opportunity.
Yeah. And events don't have to be major ordeals, Paul. They can just be 20, 10, 15 people in a room. So yeah, I think that's a great training point. But it's really funny. I see, I was going to say, hey, we want to hear from the field. And it's so awesome. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 people, maybe 7 people already have their hands up. I can't promise we'll get to everybody, but I'm going to do it in the order that people put their hands up. And I think this is fantastic to hear from the field, because you guys may have learned something through a training that we might in the field might not even be aware of, that's working great for your business or whatever. So thank you all for participating. I think this is awesome. We can learn from each other. And so Stephen, I believe it's is that Stephen Kaplan? Steve, I sent you an unmute. Are you there? Should be able to.
You got me, my friend.
So Stephen, tell us who you are. Tell the crowd who you are and where you're from, and a little bit about your experience in this industry.
More than delighted to. And folks, if it looks like I'm not looking into the screen, I suffer from low vision, and that's the screen I see right now is where I'm at. So just wanted to make you aware of that. In August of this year will be my start of my 35th year in this industry. And I got to tell you, I've experienced an awful lot. Last week, Terry, you talked about leveraging, and there was one tool that you referred to that I want to talk about, because when I started in the industry, I was, I'm telling it as it is, totally uncoachable. And I fell flat in my face for the first 4 months. And until I said, I need to learn how to do this business, and called my sponsor and I said, tell me what I have to do. He shared with me one of the most underutilized, but absolutely most effective tool there is. And it's called the three-way call. And why is it effective? It is effective because when you're reaching out to people, you sent them some information, and now you want to see if you can get over the finish line. Here it is. You really need to understand this. When you're dealing with prospects, especially the most skeptical, and let me tell you who those are, they're your family and your friends. Can everybody relate to that? Well, let me share with you that the reason the three-way call is so effective is that your friends and family especially respect you as an individual, but they don't trust you in the business for two reasons. You're brand new, or you've been in a whole bunch and you haven't had a lot of success. And the third party, the professional or the person that's been in longer, whoever it is that trust factor. Because when you get on the phone and you introduce, I won't go into how you introduce in that. Obviously, I want other people to be able to share their stories. But when you get them on the phone and you introduce your prospect to this individual who they've never met before, what are they going to talk about? The only thing in common is what you are calling about. And I'm going to finish off with this because this is the perfect example. I mentioned how family and friends are your worst prospects. Well, if I've been at this for almost 35 years, I can tell you that my family, and I am come from a really close family. I have two older sisters and cousins that are like siblings to me. I could not ever talk about anything that I was doing. There's no time for me. Well, I sent an email to my two sisters about 3 weeks ago, and the heading was, humor me, please. Just watch these two videos and let me know what you think. About a half hour later, I get a call. I get an email from my sister who has been suffering from shoulder pain and just can't. It just hurts. And she said, "If this works, I'm in." Folks, 30 seconds later, I mean, you want to talk about timing. I get this email from a friend of mine in Salt Lake City. This was a couple of weeks ago. I had carpal tunnel syndrome surgery last week. I came home. On doctor's advice, I took an Advil and an ibuprofen. The next day, I said, no medication, put the Freedom Patch on. I have not had any pain. Zip that to my sister. And here's where the trust and respect factor comes in. I get an email back. She says, I love you, bro. I want to hear it from the source. So, guess what I did? I got Larry on the phone. They had a good chat, and guess who's wearing the Freedom Patch? That's my story, folks.
Leverage the three-way call. Good for you, Steve. Thanks so much for sharing. That's a great takeaway. The three-way call, I agree, is very, very powerful. And for somebody that has been in this industry for a long time, you're a veteran, and we respect what you have to say, and we thank you for that reminder of a three-way call. And we're grateful to have people with your experience linking arms with us and moving the needle forward and helping people throughout the world. So thank you so much for sharing, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Okay, so we have Stephanie Taylor. I think you should be able to unmute, Steph.
Awesome. Thank
Hi,
you.
Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
Nice
Hi.
to see you. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and
All right. Obviously, my name's Stephanie Taylor, and I'm from the Sunshine Coast, BC, home of the Beachcombers. So, so I saw that there was an invite for us to share from the field today. So I decided to sit down and write some notes and just some thoughts. So this is some personal stuff that I've learned over the years as well. And but what I've learned, and I'm just going to read some of it because it's easier. What I've learned is to appreciate about Super Patch. Since I've only been in it for a month, my best friend Helena invited me, and I'm so grateful for that. And is the simplicity of the system that Super Patch has, and everything you need is provided for you. It's either laid out in the back office for you to look for or in Facebook groups. And the people in this community are fantastic because they care about you and they're reachable, which is huge. I've been doing network marketing since 2008, and I've tried a few different, like Steve, a few different avenues here and there, and you can't reach anybody, or they're too busy or whatever. So it makes it a struggle at times, but it's not like that here, which I'm very grateful for. And I've been an entrepreneur for over 16 years. I started out as an independent painter, and now I'm an editor for a fantastic community magazine, as well as another smaller business attached to that. And I started all these from scratch with no experience, except for a willingness to learn. And what it's taught me over the years is to set goals and to look ahead and not look back. The learning process, Super Patch, like I said, has everything in the back office for us, but it's up to us to explore, learn, listen, take notes, and find out, like I did. I'm still doing that. You do it every day because you want to see what works for you, right? I've learned, like Terry said, to get out of my comfort zone. And this is so important because if you don't get out of your comfort zone, then you never grow, you never expand. And that's the reason why we're here. And also to figure out what my story was, so, you ask yourself, what is my story? Like, what are the things that people have put into your mind over the years, how you've been programmed? And mine was basically over the years growing up that you're not smart enough, you can't do that, nobody's going to listen. So, it makes it really hard through a lifetime to really have the confidence to go out and do what you have to do. So now I've changed my story. It took a lot of work, self-development, reading, self-improvement, and it wasn't an overnight thing, but it makes you better, and it makes you want to do and be better, right? And that's what life's about. So now my story is like, I'm strong, I'm smart, I can accomplish anything I put my mind to. And I took those negative beliefs that we all have, actually, and I turned them around, and I wrote down a list over the years of all of the amazing things that I've accomplished. And sometimes you sit there and it's just like, holy crap, I did that, and it's really mind blowing, but it helps you to get out of that negativity and and move ahead and look ahead instead of always looking behind, And so this company, I'm just so grateful for this company and the people that I've met, and how we can learn and we can grow together. And and when I speak to people now, because of the way that Super Patch is set up, that's not the stress, there's not the pressure, there's not the push, because we can talk from our heart and with our experience on what we've experienced through using the patches ourselves. And so I'm really grateful that that I'm able to do that, and I'm grateful that I was able to share a little bit of my experience. And again, it's just like you have to look at yourself and like what story are you telling yourself, and how can you change it for the future to do better for yourself and those around you. So
would you say, Steph, that one of the biggest training tips that you've learned, whether through the Super Patch company, you haven't been here that long, so obviously you haven't watched 272 trainings,
no.
Super Patch, but would you say that over your years, one of the biggest takeaways you've ever had, as far as whatever, is to work on self-development? And it's important to work on self-development. Is that a tip that you would give to the field, to say, hey guys, go work on self-development, be the best that you can be, so you can do the best?
Yes. Well, exactly. Like every day I listen to motivational podcasts. I read books. I've got, I don't know how many books behind me in the library here, and I've got Think and Grow Rich right beside my bed, so it's taking those little bits of time and just devoting it to yourself to be that better person that you know you are on the inside, and just blocking out all the negativity on the outside.
Well, that's a great share, and certainly I think that's, self-development is important for all of us. I think that, improvement, as I said before, we're always in the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of perfection, and I think it's important. So that's a great share. And from the Sunshine Coast, we're so grateful you have linked arms with us and joined us, and we look forward to hearing more from you and in the future, and trainings and so on. So we're all here to help you. So thank you so much. Stormy Normie. You should be able to unmute, Norm.
Can you hear me now?
We got you now, brother.
Awesome.
The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Well, there's so many amazing tips, and I think about the journey that I've been on. And when I saw your post, I actually wrote down a few points as well, and I hope it's not overlapping, but these are really hit home for me. The first one is, don't compare your success to others, because too often I think you'll get discouraged. You're thinking, oh, this person's doing amazing, and why am I not there? So I think not comparing yourself, just work at your own speed. That's important. Be consistent, like getting on these trainings. That's huge for your knowledge base, to where to find things. We're a community. We all share information like we're doing tonight. It's really important, to be dialed in all the time and all the trainings as much as you can, or at least watch the recording. What else did I write down? I wrote, don't take it personal. Like we talked about family, they can be your worst critics. So you know what? No problem. Don't take it personal. And most importantly, I think I always remember why I got started this in the first place. That is probably my number one, because when you're not feeling things are going the way they should, you remember, well, why did I start this? Okay, someone sent me a pair of socks, and then I tried an insole, then I had a sock, and then which I've seen the evolution of this company, and it's really, really amazing. And it always helps me to stay grounded, to remember. And once you remember your story, then it's like, oh, you know what? The rest is easy. Then it's easy to just talk to people about this stuff. It's really, really amazing.
What happened here?
Woohoo!
Somebody share their screen?
I don't know.
Hmm.
That's not me. There we go.
Larry McLeod, whoever that is on here, must have pushed the wrong button. Anyway, sorry, Norm, go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, so essentially the last thing was just remembering why you started this business in the first place, or why you're here in the first place, because we all have a story. Yeah. And my story has started with wearing an insole, which went to a sock, which led to a patch. It's like your phone, right? We talk about the phone, the iPhone 1 to an iPhone 14. It's just developed, and it makes it easy to talk about it when you have your own story and you remember why you're here in the first place. And for it's helped all of us in some way, shape, or form. And,
no, that's incredible. And I think one of the points you made that I'm a big stickler on is showing up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that say they want, certain things in life, but they just don't show up. Right. And so being on these trainings to the best of your ability, and things that, not only associates are putting together, whether it's events or whether it's training calls or whatever that they're offering to the field, they're doing it to help the field. They're doing it to help their own business, and showing up. Man, we learn something new all the time, don't we, Norm, when we show up to different things?
You know what? Every single time. And you got to take advantage of it, because, the field's putting on this information for all of us, right? We all want to help each other. It's a one team, one mission.
Well, the show up part of it is to set an example to teammates that you're building with. And certainly not everybody can get on all the time. We understand that, but there's so much you can learn on these things. And that's why I think it's important to open up to the field, and certainly, none of us know it all. And that's a great point that you make about the importance of showing up and not comparing your successes to anybody else. We all travel at the same speed, and so on. So that's a great reminder. And so implementing the fact that you show up, Norm, on 99% of the things that are on, How has that helped your business?
Oh, tremendously. Just knowledge,
Mhm.
knowledge, because it's like when you go to school, you take a course, you have to show up to the class to know what the course is about and be able to pass the tests.
Right, right.
Right. And if you don't show up to class, if you don't know how to do a demo because you've never done a demo or you've never learned how to do a demo, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not showing up to class.
Yeah, yeah. Great point. Well, thank you, Norm. Appreciate the share very
My
much.
pleasure.
And guys, keep your eye open for Norm and Kevin Dugay's upcoming podcast. The launch was last week. It'll be rocking and rolling, and we can leverage his podcast to bring our guests on. So, Norm, little plug for the team there. Thanks very much, and excited to have my dear friend Heather Lemke with her hand up. Our dear associate friend from the Pembroke area. Heather, welcome. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been with the company and what's stuck in your mind for training and you've applied to your business.
Well, I am Heather Lemke. I'm the one that taught Terry how to fish. And I'm from up in Renfrew County. And I've been with Vox for about 6.5 years now. And like Norm has said, and Stephanie and Terry, I find these calls are one of the best things that we can do for ourselves and our team. Every single person is an expert at something. And every single call you get at least one takeaway from. And one of the most recent ones that I had the opportunity to get on, and I was lucky because I'm in the Women of Vox Life, so I got to hear Patty Grass do her presentation twice on boards. And I've been using it a lot at my vendor shows now, and that is an amazing tool. And just this past weekend, Jean Potier and I did a show down in Renfrew, and I shared my boards with 5 different people. And out of the 5, one phoned this morning and she placed an order for 2 packs of patches and 2 pairs of socks. And one of the other guys that I shared some boards with sent me this email, and it says, "Hello, Heather. I'm excited about the Super Patch Associate opportunity. Currently, I'm looking at different career directions. I hope this was some type of divine timing for me. I'm all about promoting healthy living. I'm seeing a company I really like, and I'd go above and beyond with bringing it more attention. Please message me back if you still need associates. Thanks so much, Daniel." And I really don't think I would have heard back from him if he wouldn't have had my information right in front of his face, just because I was sharing some boards with him yesterday. And it's so easy, it's so handy, and you can send them all kinds of information in a matter of seconds. You don't have to go home, look up their email address, look up stuff on your computer. It's just an amazing tool. And thanks again for that, Patty.
Yeah, that's a great share, Heather. And if you don't know or aren't familiar with boards, there is a training in the guides tab under recorded calls. It's also the recording of Patty Grass's training is also on my YouTube channel. So if you want to join my YouTube channel, it's just Terry St. Ammon, just my name. You can subscribe to that, and I put all the trainings in there as well on my YouTube channel. So they're in the guides tab, which is at the top of our Team Patchination page. And you can just click on guides at the top and then open it up and go to recorded calls. And I think you can search recorded calls. So I think if you just type in either boards or Patty Grass, PATTIGRAS, then it should pop up in that feed. So
Excuse me, sir.
yes, go ahead.
It's Pat Ferris Grass.
Oh,
not
okay,
Pat.
that's what yeah, okay. So I forgot that she carried other names. I thought she threw the Ferris out, but wasn't. Anyways, thanks for that. So Pat Ferris Grass, but you'll be able to find it in there. And if you don't, just put a post in the team page of where is it, and can somebody tag me, and we'll get you looked after. So Heather, great share. Thank you so much as always. Appreciate your input for sure. And I'll be calling you for another review on that.
Thanks, Terry.
Not on the boards, on the comment
On the
about
fishing.
Yeah, I'll be calling you about that. So that's how fights start. Anyways, excited to have Karen Smith on there. And I just want to make a note, guys, we're at the half-hour mark which is where we try to keep our calls to. If you have to leave, feel free to leave. If you want to stay, I love to hear from everybody. I have no timeline. I don't know whether Paul does either, but we're going to keep going and hear from people.
Leafs are losing, I'm in. Leafs are losing, I'm in.
Yeah, stick around. You can always watch the replay. So anyways, great to have you, Karen. Karen, tell us a little bit about you and what you have applied from trainings to your business.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Karen Smith. I'm in the Kingston, Ontario area, and I've been with the company for almost 6.5 years. And, you know, to try and say something in about 5 minutes of what you've learned in all of those trainings, there's so many of them.
Top one or two.
Right? Everything is figure outable. I quote you from the first time I heard it to everything that I do. Case in point, today I was asked to go on a podcast, and a lot of the times when I go on to share about Vox, you know, I've got all these notes and I always think it's going to be a pre-interview. And I showed up on this interview today that was a podcast in the UK, and he started talking about, you know, how this is going to happen. And I said, oh, okay, so you're going to ask questions and you're going to lead them in and that sort of thing. That's fine. And I'm writing notes down. He goes, so can I press record now? And I'm like, what? Like, we're doing this like now? And all I could hear in my head is everything's figure outable. You don't need your notes. You've been doing this long enough.
Not a girl.
Don't doubt yourself. And the thing is, lead from the heart. You can have all the notes in the world. And what you really need to understand is everybody that's out there that's listening to you, whether you're in an online vendor event, whether you're telling your story online, whether you're in person telling somebody something, they don't know what we know. They don't know what you know. And when you stumble, and I'll tell you, I did stumble today on that podcast, but the podcaster didn't know. And whoever else is going to listen to it isn't going to know. Only I know. So when you lead from your heart and you just explain it, everything is figure outable. It's easy.
Well, it's funny, today I was listening to Matthew Conaughey. I don't know what anybody else is on.
I was on that too.
Yeah, and I was in between calls and everything, but he had a female speaker, I forget what her name is, but she's written a book called Everything is Figure Outable. And I'm like, no way. And so I got to find this book and I got to get this girl's book, because I was just flabbergasted that she's a publisher of a book called Everything's Figure Outable. I thought it was my own unique word, but I guess not. So, and I didn't know who this girl was, but good for you. And you know what I think, Karen, is a very important point of what you said, is that when you lead from the heart and you tell something, you know, that's not planned, it's not necessarily rehearsed or whatever, that it shows authenticity and
Absolutely.
It shows integrity. And I think that's so important for all of us to be authentic, and our stories have to be authentic and has to be real. So sometimes, you know, being on the spot like that without having, you know, the Coles notes written down and just telling it like you feel it, you know, let those feelings in your heart flow from your heart through your mouth and out to the world. And like we do when we talk to people at a coffee shop or when we tell them our story or whatever. So bravo to you. That's awesome. You're an amazing teammate. You've been here just about as long as Paul and I. And we're so grateful you're here, and you're such a great teammate and such a great ambassador for this technology. So thanks so much for sharing, Karen. So remember, folks, everything is figure outable, right? So thanks very much. Next, we have, go ahead. It just says iPad. And I know I've probably met you before. Can you unmute yourself?
There we are. It's Bob.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Go ahead. What's your first name and where are you
Yeah,
from?
it's Bob. Sorry, Terry. It's we were on today. Jen
Oh, we're
and
on
I.
the phone today. It's Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Yeah. I
great.
didn't recognize. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Bob.
Now we meet over the video.
Yeah. We
so,
actually finally put faces to the voices.
yeah.
Great
Thanks.
to have
Thanks for your time today. It was.
Oh, my
it was,
pleasure. My
was
pleasure.
great.
Thanks for jumping on here, Bob. Appreciate to hear.
It was, I want to just quickly thank you and Paul and my sponsor Rose for all the support. You guys have, since Jenny and I, my wife Jen and I have been into business, have been just amazing. And we really appreciate it big time. Jenny and I, we've been in the business for over 30 years, building large networks and so forth. And we are in retirement. I'm now 83, going on 39 US because of my patches. So
You do
that's
not
for
look
another time.
83.
Yeah.
My goodness. Wow, Bob, you look awesome.
So Paul, I got a real good testimony for you down the way. So we'll share that. But
Awesome.
I got something you guys missed. I'm really, look at, there it is. That patch right there, that's a new patch. That's the Edmonton Oiler patch. Okay, and that cup is going to Edmonton. So anyways, I had to get that in because I heard you and Paul talking earlier.
Well, you might be right about the Oilers this year.
Oh, it was a great game last night. I'm a little tired staying up, but the patches did it for me. But anyways, we got a couple of things that I dotted down after you and I talked today. And Jenny and I, with all the trainings and stuff that we did over the years with the companies we've been with, a couple of real good points came, and Norm and yourself, Terry, have touched on, but we've all heard of the key, and I made some notes here, so I'm just glancing back and forth here. But it's the key points for success, and when we're building, one of the main things I say to especially new people that are coming into the business, you got to show up. You got to show up, be on the calls, training events, even the virtual events. If you're going to go and make a business out of it, you got to be there, and you got to be coachable. A couple of guys talked about it. My good friend Steve Kaplan, that was on before me, talked about it.
Mhm.
If you're coachable, your team can guide you to success by teaching you strategies and the right things to do and more. And that's very important. It's
Sure.
You sort of got to put that out on the table when you're dealing with somebody and say, hey, where do you want to go with your business? And here's what we'll set up. But the very most valuable thing for Jenny and I over the years, and the underlining most important thing we found, is the belief system. It's so key to everything we do in our business. And the belief system applies to three major areas in your business. Number one, you got to be untouchable. You got to have unbelievable belief in the company, in that the company operates with integrity and honesty in network marketing industry. And we have that with our Super Patch company. It's just amazing. Number two, a solid belief in the product. It's so important that the product works for you, that the product works for many other people, and we know that. And you just look at the demographics for the Super Patch company, it's just unbelievable, and it works for all ages. It's the key. It's a key. When Jenny and I first got involved just over a month ago with this, all this came to us, and we saw it with the patch. It was just unbelievable. And number three, it's the unstoppable belief that you can do this. If you got a feeling any one of these is not working for you, then your team will help you get the belief on the 3 points that I just mentioned. And it's so key. It's so key. And I think just finishing off, Terry, I said the major component to having a great team is fun. And in over the 30 years, and my friend Steve we built companies together and all that. And one of the big things is fun. You got to have some fun with it. You got to have a few laughs. You got to get involved with the team. And it sort of brings it all together, and it's amazing. And over 30 years on all the products that we've did in the companies that we were involved in, Jenny and I have never seen a product as good as the patches. So it's amazing. And we've had unbelievable success here in just a month, and just sharing the patch and having fun and watching people with a smile on their face once they use it. So it's,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, thanks for Rose bringing this to me. And
yeah,
I'll
that's a
yeah.
great share, Bob. I mean, belief is
Thanks,
so
man.
huge in anything we do, isn't it? I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
and belief is attained through experience, through showing up,
That's it.
right? Through doing the do. You do the do, you build the belief, right? And I mean, I think I can speak for any of us veterans that are on here, and some of the people that never necessarily built big businesses or anything like that, but they have a belief in the product, and they have a belief that helping people is a key factor to the success of their life, and their success in their life is not necessarily determined by the success I want in my life.
Exactly.
But they believe in the product, and they're still here, and they're still sharing, and they're still doing their best and showing up and building that belief system that you said is so important. So I assume, being a veteran in the industry, Bob, that your belief system has been built very, very quickly with this company due to experience, due to use on the product. And so you're going to implement that belief into your business and see it just go rise to the top. Am I correct with that?
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
pleasure.
thanks, sir. Appreciate you
Jenny.
involved. Appreciate you big time. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We appreciate you. And thanks to you and Jenny for jumping on. I know that we talked earlier today that you thought you were retired, but you were introduced to the patches, and you rolled
Not
up
yet.
your sleeve, put a patch on, and went to work again.
That's it.
Thanks very much, Bob. Look forward to hearing
Okay.
from you, and look forward to have you doing one of our trainings one night on the call here.
Not a problem.
Okay,
Appreciate
thanks,
you.
Bob.
Take care.
Don Kotler, Donalita, welcome. Unmute yourself and let's hear. Can you unmute? Down in the bottom corner. There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
There you
I have
go.
my iPad upstairs, away from everybody. Yeah, I'm hearing some other stories, and what I was going to say, I'm going to change it up a little bit after what Karen said today. I had an event down here in Wellington a little over a week ago, and I was just introducing some of the people that were there to speak. And I saw Jay in the back of the room, and I just got up and started telling my story. Nothing prepared, just told my story. And it went over really big. And afterwards, everybody came and wanted to know more about it and stuff. And Kevin told me years ago, Kevin Duguay, have a story, believe in it. And I have quite a unique story, but I have events at my house every other week. One on a Tuesday, one on a Wednesday, because people might be busy on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So I switch it off. And I'll tell a little bit about my story, but then we go around the room, because everybody's story is just about as important as your story.
Mhm.
And we get the associates from the area together, and I often record it and send it to my associates that aren't in the Palm Beach area. So it's to make everybody's story feel as important as my story feels to me.
Mhm.
And how the patches have helped so many people and the socks over the years. And it's just really unique. And sometimes our parties go like 4 or 5 hours. I can't get them out of the house. Like this meeting, everybody wants to tell their story. So that's my thing, is just make people passionate about what they're doing. And if their story interests other people in the room, then they're going to be more passionate about selling the product and helping people.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's all about helping people.
Yeah, that's a great, Donalita, that's a great point. Perfecting your story, which is doesn't have to be profound. It just has to be yours, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be a better story than somebody else's. It just has to be yours, and it has to be authentic. And if it's authentic, then we don't
Yes.
set the amygdala off in somebody else's brain, which is the human BS detector. So,
Yes.
we want to make sure that we, tell people our authentic story and make, I think it's important that everybody feels important. I think we as a team have to make sure that everybody's story is important. And this isn't a competition of stories. This is a race to authenticity. And so we want to make
Yes.
sure that our stories are real and that people appreciate. So great point. And by teaching that to your team, authentic stories, does that help your team, Donalita?
Oh, I think absolutely. And then at the end of our meeting, I get everybody up and everybody does at least 2 people and does the testing. So they're doing it properly.
Right.
And, and seeing like how crazy it can be. And I've pulled patches off, so you can see, okay, it's different. It's crazy how strong you are. And I just want them all to feel it, whether they're an associate or a guest. I want them all to feel nobody leaves without patches on because they need to feel the power of the patch.
Well,
So
we appreciate the effort you put in, and I've been to your lovely home in Palm Beach there.
we missed you this time.
Yeah, I wish I could have
Next
been
time.
there. I hope that they lift this whole travel ban thing. But the bottom line is, I remember being there, and we went to the polo game. You took us to the polo game, and so on. And so you're such a beautiful lady. You're a great teammate, Donalita, and thank you for hosting in Wellington there and stepping up to the plate and hosting that event. We sure appreciate you as a teammate, and certainly appreciate your comments here tonight and letting people know that the importance of making sure their story is nailed down and that your story is important as anybody else's story. So thanks again, Donalita. Appreciate it so much. Okay, we got a couple more. We're going to cut this off at the hour. We got 10 minutes for sure. So Paul Vanaveen.
Hey, Terry.
How are you, buddy?
Good. Believe it or not, this will be short. First of all, Paul Vandeven from Brantford, Ontario. In 3 days, I will be 6 years with this company. So here's my points. Number 1, just show up. Whether you realize it or not, people in your team see you. And just showing up leads by example. 2, never quit on a bad day. If you're having a bad day, just take it a day at a time. Know that tomorrow it'll be better. And don't be afraid to pick up the phone and make a call.
Excuse me one sec, Paul. Hang on one second. I just want to see somebody's
unmuted.
Can you find him, Paul?
That sounds there. I think we got it.
Yeah.
Number 3, it's all about consistency. So get yourself an accountability partner. Set 3 goals up every day. Start the one that's the most important that just absolutely has to be done that day, and then just report to each other at night. There's no judgment. It's just, did you get them done or not? Number 4 is measure your success. You don't know how you're doing if you don't track it. And don't fall into what I call compare-itis. I think it was mentioned here earlier.
Yeah, Norm made that point. Great point.
Yeah. So it's like, when I go out golf and the only person I play against is myself.
Yeah.
I have a thing that number 5 that is, I say, remember, ask. So write down, keep track of the important things that your prospects have, things that they've gone through, just things that you remember over time, and you just stay in touch with them. And finally, just ask. just ask and see if they're open to look at your opportunity or whether it's to be a customer. Jen Moyer taught me early on in this business, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that was Bob Abrams' point too, that, you know,
Yeah.
we got to have some fun doing this. And guys, to be quite honest, I mean, we have fun doing these calls. I know I can speak for my friend and business partner, Paul Austin. I mean, when Paul Austin and I get together, man, our guts are hurting. It doesn't matter whether we're doing this business or whether we're hunting or fishing. I mean, we are a pair of characters, and Paul's one of the funniest guys I know. And so it's a great point, Paul. You have to have fun doing this. I mean, who the heck wants to go and work and do something that's not fun? I mean, that's
Exactly.
so great point.
Finally, tell your story. Remember, vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a superpower. And we all have one. That's it.
Thank you so much, Paul. You've been a great ambassador for this product. You know, you've been here since the beginning. You've seen change, you've persevered through whatever. And I'm proud to stand beside you, buddy. It's great to have you on the team, and we know that good things are going to continue to happen, and thanks for showing up as you always do. Cheers. And Gio, last but not least. Go ahead, Gio.
Okay. Name is George St. Louis. I'm up in Sudbury area, Ontario. And a month ago, I got in through Elena. I figured, why not try something that's going to be healthy? So I tried two patches, boosted my confidence so much that when I went for a physical, my doctor, I told him about it. He's actually going to look it up.
Right on.
And keep going with that. My bank teller was telling me a few things, and I showed her the patch, and she's going to look into it. It's boosting me like positive in a lot of mental ways, which is awesome.
Wow.
I even bought the two sets of insoles, and I'm going to use those to promote and show people that it does exist.
Well, I know, George, that you're relatively new here, and you've shown up on all the calls that I've been on, that I've seen your name here before. And so of some of the trainings that you've seen, not necessarily with this company, but with others, what has resonated with you that you could implement into your business, George, that you can remember one or two things that you've seen on these training calls or whatever that you think is helping you? I know that one of them is like self-confidence that you said that this has helped you with. So give me one more.
Don't be afraid to go up and people will talk to you. They're normal, just like everybody, me and you and everybody else.
Absolutely.
Nobody's super special. And my goal on this is, like the site says, I'd like to push to help join that 1 million people, so nobody's taking medication and anything.
Oh, that's great. That's now, have you done the demo on people before, George?
No, I haven't. I've been gone for 4 or 5 days at camp, enjoying my free time there, and I just got back today. So, and my insoles are in about.
I want you to call me one time when you do the demo on somebody and they go tabernacle. I want you to.
I plan on it because I want somebody to test it on me just to show it. Yeah. And I'm even gonna go with naysayers that don't believe in this. I'm even gonna test it on them too.
Oh boy, that's awesome. Good for you. Well, thanks so much, George. I'm so glad that you can feel the nut on the bolt.
Oh now, yeah, this is fantastic. And, like I can even feel my nail gliding across my finger. Like
that's so good. Well, keep wearing it. You're a great ambassador. We're happy that you're here, George. You're a good man, and we appreciate you in the field here. And thank you for sharing tonight for sure. We appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. And when I do miss out on Zooms or whatever, I go on the Facebook site and it's all posted there. So I've joined all of them and keep watching. Like they say, it's a new job. You got to practice till you get good at it. So
yeah. Exactly.
Just like anything else.
Great point. Practice till you get good at it. Good point. Thanks so much, George. We'll see you again on another
Awesome.
call. Last but not least, Jeanette, I'm asking you to unmute.
Are you okay?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Hi,
Jeanette, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and
I'm Jeanette Lamarche, and I'm from Rockland, Ontario. So just east of Ottawa. Everything that we talked tonight was because I was into some of the business too. But there was one thing they were teaching us in one of those companies that I had before that already had resonate to me. And this weekend, I just got a brand new associate in, and today she was overwhelmed because it's going too fast and she can't learn fast enough. The only thing I told her, and that time, that the way the person showed it to us, it got me very excited. She was using a sponge, and she was telling us, she says, be like a sponge. Keep what you can, let go of the rest. Next time you're listening to a video or a phone or Zoom call, take what you can, be the sponge, let go of the rest. It will come eventually, because we're trying to learn too fast, and it's hard to get everything. And she says, I can't even remember the people's name. I says, you've been in the business 2 weeks, come on. So so that's about, for me, that time. It was like maybe 15 years ago that I was in something else, but that thing, I'm a visual person. So, hey, Heather, you know that, right? And that time when she used that sponge and she was letting go of the water, she was saying, let go of what you don't understand yet. Just keep what you know. It could be one phrase, one thing. Because one time we're on a women's call, and we were talking about the insoles, the patch. And all of a sudden, one of them said, for me, I'm not selling insoles. I'm not selling patch. I'm selling the technology. That's what I'm sharing. We use patches and insoles or socks, but we're selling or we're sharing the technology. That's what we're sharing. And I went, wow, I liked it. So.
Yeah, great point. I mean, the technology is the technology. We have to have a delivery mechanism to the body.
Absolutely.
So the delivery mechanism is through socks and insoles and patches, right? So, and no, that's a great point. Be like a sponge. It's kind of like my brother-in-law says, my sister's husband used to be. You get a lot of stuff blown at you and trainings at you and everything, and we almost feel like we're responsible, that we got to understand and absorb all that. Well, just absorb and discard. Absorb and discard.
Absolutely.
And
that's what the sponge is.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to show up, because every time I know that I learned something new, and I've learned a number of new things that I sort of forgot about in here, and so it's a refresher. It's great for all of us. So I want to thank everybody for sharing tonight. Thank you, Jeanette, for everybody. I hope this call was enlightening. I know that every time we talk to the field and we get together, we all have wonderful things to share. And I want to, first of all, I'm going to stop this recording.